Stephen A. Snitch is at it again. Now, this is the whole thing, right? Stephen A. Snitch is starting to separate himself from Shannon Sharpe. And I knew that this was coming, but this is the whole thing. Behind the scenes, they had already knew about a lot of these accusations that was already going down. They was already aware of this stuff, right? But now all of a sudden, right, he's separating himself. And the Breakfast Club got wind of this. And the Breakfast Club is holding him accountable and calling him out. Now the Breakfast Club is hypocrites too, but they actually calling him out. So Stephen A. Smith is starting to go around on shows, using his show to talk about, this case, right? But he was on the show talking with Big Boy, and he said this.
This right here, this does, as soon as I saw Busby was her attorney and all this kind of.
You can look at somebody, and even if you take issue with their choices and what they've done, you can still sit up there and look at them and say they're a friend. Mm-hmm. And it means the world to them.
And this is the time.
And it means the world to them. And so for me, all I want him and anybody to know is that you ain't going to see me excoriating him. You ain't going to see me disrespecting him. You're not going to see me stripping him of my support. I can tell you what I think you right and you wrong about, right? Getting your about it and then turn around and say, okay, how can we help you get back past this? All of that comes with friendship. And I think that true friends conduct themselves that way. They ain't yes people that tell you just what you want to hear. They ain't no people that's willing to vilify you to second something. I mean, I see cats talking about him, and I can't even put into words the shit I've seen them do and heard about them doing, especially in our business. And so it's like you just, and then I see the zest with which people are willing to pounce on him. And it's like, listen, people have been after him since he did Cat Williams. You know, they've been at his neck because of the numbers he produced and the success that it had and how he was able to ride that wave. Now, once again, that's separate and apart from all of this. We get that part. I'm not talking about what people are talking about and what they have to talk about. I'm talking about the zest with which they do it. If I sit up there and I'm friends with Big Boy, I'm a contemporary colleague with Big Boy, right? And then Big Boy get in trouble. It's one thing for me to be on the air and going like this, yeah, you know, I mean, this is what happened to Big Boy. And it's another thing in time, you'd be like, yeah, you see what happened to Big Boy?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's like, you know, you just see that and you see a joy that some people are having in going at him. And that's sad. You can talk about it, but we know the difference in terms of the flavor that you're bringing to an equation where you're talking about somebody with glee and joy in your voice when, you know, when you're talking about the kind of predicament they find themselves in. And that's what I have a problem with. So for me, it's just about making sure that he knows, and anybody that knows how I feel knows that he matters to me, and I want him to be okay.
And the funny thing is, see, Stephen A. Smith like to use words and like to say things and make it seem like he didn't say it, right? So he used words like zest, and we see all the zest. He says all kinds of crazy stuff. Now, the Breakfast Club picked up on it, right? Because ain't nobody stupid. And we understand when the dudes is trying to run game. So check this out. Check this out.
Did he say he sees the zest in which people want to pounce on him?
I knew you was going to
say that whole sentence.
If you zesty pouncing on somebody.
It's like, yo.
I will say in a lot of ways, I could say Stephen A. set the tone for that commentary though.
I said that.
Because one of the first people who commented on Shannon Sharpe was Stephen A.
Yeah. And he said,
put out a 20-minute video that night.
Yeah. And then said, basically, this is my guy, but I'm going where ESPN go. I'm going where ESPN goes. Which I get it. That's like, that's where you work at and all that. But now the tone is giving, we stand with Shannon Sharpe regardless, whatever, or at least be careful how you talk about him. But when he talked about it that first night, I was like, are they friends? I was a little confused.
And see, Stephen A. Smith, ESPN, all these people, see, they knew that Shannon Sharpe was hot, right? So they all tried to get in on the Shannon Sharpe sweepstakes, get that money, but they knew that Shannon Sharpe had a checkered past and he did a lot of wrong stuff in the past, right? But they didn't care, right? They all gambled and it backfired on them. So now they all trying to save face and they all scrambling to try to separate themselves from Shannon because they know where there's smoke, there's fire. He has way too many accusations, right? They know this, and it's not accusations that's just all these women piled up. They spaced out in years where reports was made or people made, Listen, you had Michelle Evans, Michelle Bundy. You had all these, and then when he had the sex thing, he was saying the woman's name is Michelle. Like, it's just a bunch of, the guys are goofy, right? Check this out.
This is the most damning thing Stephen A. Smith said, and this is why I'm just like, when these stories come out at some point this morning, some point before the week's over, ESPN's going to be like, deuces, I'm good. We've seen enough here, because Stephen A. Smith publicly questioned the strategy of Shannon Sharpe and his team.
Going on the offensive to defend himself, I completely understand where Shannon Sharpe is coming from. On the other hand, when his legal team issued out the press release on X yesterday, and they spoke about, they mentioned her name, and they revealed some of those explicit text messages, that was uncomfortable. And I don't know if that's a strategy that would work.
And see, this is the thing. Because they knew that Shannon was involved in some F-boy stuff, they probably told him behind the scenes, yo, keep your nose clean, man. Don't get mixed up in nothing. Shannon, no scandals, right? No scandals. I'm going out on a limb. I'm bringing you on here with me. You and Skip fell off. Because remember, Skip was the one that gave you the shot when nobody would give you the shot because of the past allegations. That's why Skip felt entitled to disrespect you, because Skip said if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be on here, right? So now you and Skip fall out. Shannon, I'm bringing you with me. Shannon, listen, man, no scandals. So now the first person to go against him was Stephen A. When Stephen A. went on national TV and said, that's a strategy I wouldn't use. That right there let ESPN know that they had to separate from him, because Stephen A. Smith himself was separating from him. That's what that let them know, and that's exactly what they did. They cut all ties, right? And they allowed him the dignity of saying, hey, I'm stepping down to go be with family, right? But Stephen went finished. Look at this.
That I spoke to Shannon, not in details, but I spoke to him, and he emphatically proclaims his innocence. According to Mr. Busby, his client emphatically proclaims his guilt. So where does that leave us? I'd love to tell you that I know the answer to that question, but I don't. I am the executive producer of First Take on ESPN. I recruited Shannon. I went and got him and brought him to ESPN. But I'm not the boss. Those are other folks. There are layers to this, and there are certain layers even I am not on. I can tell you, I also spoke to co-chairman of Disney, the boss, Jimmy Pitaro, who made it very, very clear we are taking this matter very seriously, and we are looking into this very, very closely. In my perfect world, he moves on, and somehow, some way, we find this all to be false. But it doesn't seem like that's the way things are about to go down, considering who Mr. Busby is and how emphatic his client is proclaiming that she is right and she's telling the truth. I don't know where this is going to go.
Now, Stephen A. Snitch is such a cornball and bad guy, right? He's just a bad dude, right? Because he didn't really take the stance to taking Shannon Sharpe's back, because remember, this is supposed to be his guy, right? He got a lot of blowback, a lot of pushback. People were saying, man, this guy's a Benedict Arnold. Man, this guy's not a friend. Like, you don't have your homie back at all. Like, you saying you want to use that strategy. You saying you don't know it, don't look too good. Like you using all kinds of words and smoke signals to say, yo, I ain't with him. Don't put me with him. I don't want to lose no money. I don't want to get affiliated with him. I wasn't at none of the parties. I wasn't there. That's exactly what you're doing, right? And you got so much pushback that you had to go back on your show to actually double down and try to defend him. See, the way you defended Jay-Z, you didn't come out and defend Shannon like this, and I know why you didn't defend him, right? But because of the pushback, you had to now go on your show and speak up and speak in a manner in which you are defending him, right? This is what you had to do.
A lot of people were looking for me to say something. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to speak to one's innocence or one's guilt about something I have absolutely positively no knowledge of whatsoever. Do I believe that Shannon Sharpe is guilty of what he has been accused of? Absolutely not. That is my personal opinion. The brother that I've come to know, I don't believe would assault or rape anybody. And I'm going to state that emphatically. But just as emphatically, I'm going to remind everybody it is my opinion because of what I feel about him. Not in any way implying that I know a damn thing beyond that, because I don't know. I've seen the text messages released by his lawyer, who, by the way, I don't think has been impressive in this at all, because some of the information that was.
So now he's trying to Negro explain. All he had to do was come out and say, listen, me and Shannon is co-workers. We didn't grow up together. We ain't homeboys. He was just a brother that was down on his luck and I wanted to give a shot to. That's all he had to do. That's all he had to say. He didn't have to say, yo, I'm not Bucky. I'm not one of the friends that Shannon always, says is his best friends. He could have said, man, I have power over here at ESPN. The bosses asked me, well, what about Shannon? We know Shannon was hot at the time. He was bringing in the numbers. He was driving the ratings up. So I wanted to bring him on. When it comes to this case, from what I know about him, I don't think that from what I know about him, the individual, I don't think that he's capable of doing something like this, but I don't know. I don't know. It hasn't went in the court of law. We saw the text messages. That's all he had to say from the door. Just get out in front of it and just say that. But he didn't. He tried to Negro explain, and what he tried to do was use corporate verbiage to try to separate himself from it in a manner which he always does, and it's backfiring on him, right? Because he ain't really standing on business, and it's making him look bad. Now the thing with Shannon, I keep telling y'all how I feel about Shannon. Shannon, I'm from Philadelphia. I'm an Eagles fan, but I was a John Elway fan. He was my favorite player, favorite quarterback of all time. So my second team was the Broncos. I had already heard things about Shannon even when he was playing for the Broncos. The disparaging things he would say about black women back then. The disparaging things he would say about the black community. I don't care for Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe don't care for black people. Shannon Sharpe talked all that black stuff and was on the show with Skip talking about the black community, but we see where his politics lie because I can see where he lay down at, right? All these accusations is with these W women. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm glad he wasn't with no sisters doing it. If he's found guilty of doing this stuff, I'm glad that he wasn't doing this to no young sisters. I'm glad that he wasn't abusing and forcing himself on sisters. I don't want let me say this. I don't think he should force himself on any woman, because from the way I go, any man that forces himself on a woman deserves to be unalived. They deserve the death penalty. Any man that forcibly forces, I got 2 daughters. I don't care what race they are. What race they are. No woman should have to go through that where a man is forcing himself on a woman. But I'll say this, right? I'm glad that he don't like sisters. So that way, no sister had to endure this. Definitely, for sure. Right? Stay your behind over there. Keep doing what you do. I mean, him and Chad is like night and day. Chad is totally different brother, right? Shannon Sharpe is a very arrogant, mean, disrespectful guy. And if you got 2 eyes, you can see it. You can see by the way he carry himself. You can see by the way that he talk. The thing was, Shannon Sharpe thought that he arrived. Shannon Sharpe thought that he was above being accused or prosecuted by these people. He thought, yeah, I'm a Negro from the South, right? My family come through the Jim Crow South. I made it out, but I'm accepted by these people. I've arrived. I'm better than my people. My women ain't good enough. I'm a cop the fence and run over here with them. And when I get over there, I can do whatever I want to do to them. Yeah, well, guess what, Shannon? And Cat Williams tried to warn you. Monique tried to warn you, but your arrogance blinded you. And this is what you're going through now. You've been blinded by your arrogance. You thought that you was something you're not. You thought that you was one of them. You thought you was accepted. You thought that you could take their women and just do what you want to do. And wasn't going to be no blowback. Wasn't going to be no blowback. Man, I'm so glad that, man, you went over here doing this to our sisters, man. Man, you shouldn't have did it to no women. But I'm definitely glad you wasn't over here doing this to our sisters. Keep your butt over there. I wouldn't care if they convicted you and gave you 175 years. That's on you. You've been turned your back on the community. And I ain't got to say nothing else. I'm going to cut this video short here, man. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, leave your comments in the comment section. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.